everybody. I'm getting started a few minutes early today. I know a few of you are hoping to kind of get your setup streaming at home. So we still have about 4 minutes left. So I'm just going to let this live stream while y'all are getting set up. So just a few things to keep in mind. Go ahead and spend a few minutes creating your space. So I don't know about you, but I know I like for things to be clean and just kind of simple. Hey Patty, so glad you're here. If you want to diffuse some essential oils, or maybe you have some oils on hand and don't have a diffuser, you can put a few drops on either wrist, and every time you go to down dog or chaturanga, you'll kind of get a fresh scent from those essential oils, which is really nice. So you may want to try that. If you don't have a block, I wanted to give a couple suggestions, a small stool, or even like an Amazon box that you've like retaped up so it's just square. You won't be able to do, hey Jan, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for tuning in. So if you have an old box you can use, I know one of my friends was using a kid's toy. You can use a really large book. That won't work for everything you would use a block for, but it'll work for a lot of things. Sometimes you just need an extension of your arm, somewhere to place a hand where maybe you wouldn't quite be able to reach the floor. So that's a great thing you can use for that. You probably won't need a strap for this practice, but if you like to have one nearby, you can do that too. Make sure you have a water in case you just need a sip or need to take a break. Speaking of, let me find mine. Here it is. Perfect. I'll have, hey Carissa, so glad you're tuning in. I will have a little bit of music playing. It's just gonna be playing off my computer today, so it'll be soft in the background. If I had it my way, it would be blasting and you would be able to hear me and see me all at once, but we're just doing this off my iPhone for now. So we have limited technological capabilities, so thanks for bearing with me through that. I'm thinking for the future, I might create a Spotify playlist and give you guys the link so that you can queue up the Spotify playlist and have it going as loud as you like in the background while you're, oh, Carissa, thank you. I am so glad you did it. Yay. And I'm glad you liked it. So as y'all know, this class is, or maybe you don't, maybe you just queued in and you don't even know what you're watching. So I'm about to lead an hour Vinyasa flow class for beginners or for experienced yogis that just want to work on placement, form, alignment. It's just going to be a little slower. I'll be breaking some things down, really talking through some things. Hey April, so glad you're here. So hopefully that will be really helpful for you guys. So even if you've been practicing yoga for a long time, I know you can still benefit from this class. If you've been doing yoga for any amount of time, you know that when you start, it either feels impossibly hard and you bail, or impossibly easy and you think, what's the big deal? I was in the latter boat. I thought this is way too easy. Why is everyone saying these poses are hard? I came from a dance background, so they felt easy. I also had some flexibility. Hey Paula, so glad you're here. But then I quickly learned that as you progress through and start taking a few more classes, yay, she's doing the body and soul class, Kelly Higgins, that's awesome. So as you progress through your yoga practice and get more engaged and learn how to engage the right muscles and sink deeper, hey Simone, into some poses, you will really find that it'll start getting harder before it starts getting easier. So I feel like about 6 months to a year into my yoga practice, I was like, oh, this is what everyone's talking about. This stuff's really, really difficult. And started becoming a lot more sore because my muscles were waking up and I was learning how to engage. And then as you stick with it, it will start to get quote unquote easier as you have that body awareness, that muscle memory, and you learn how to get in and out of poses more easier, and you're also not having to watch the teacher. What did she say? What is that pose? As you continue to learn. So it is 1 o'clock on the dot. Hope y'all enjoyed my little intro. So go ahead and hop on your mat and let's get started. I want to be as prompt as possible for all of you guys that are queuing in live. And as you know, this will be saved to my wall, and I'm also saving these videos to my website so that you can watch anytime or do it again if it was helpful to you, or share with a friend. So with that said, we are going to start on our mat in an easy seat. So all that means is you can sit crisscross, you can sit on your knees, you can sit on a block. If you go to sit kind of Indian style, that's not probably proper. crisscross applesauce, you can sit on a block, and that will help, hey Gabby, that will help elevate your hips and open them up, and your knees may fall a little gentler, a little easier. So go ahead and hop on your mat in an easy seated position, and I'll join you. I'm also not going to project my voice as much as last time because I think this picks up a lot of sound. Hey Patty, I'm so glad you're here. That reminds me, thank you Patty. Because I'm using my selfie cam on my phone, it's giving you a mirror image. So what you're seeing is the reverse of what my home really looks like. I'm gonna say right, and you're gonna see my left. I'm going to keep it that way for now for fear of messing this up and making it very confusing for everyone. So just know that the whole time you're watching this, you're watching the mirror image of me. Hey Kathy. So if you are like, what foot is she on? And you look and I'm on my left, we're actually on the right. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you do on one side, the next time I call a foot, just do it on the other. As long as you get both sides in, you're gonna be just fine. All right, let's get started. All right, so sitting on your mat, just make sure you're comfortable. So feel free to wiggle and move. Again, if you are sitting and you're feeling like this, and this is as far as you can go, grab a block and put it underneath your bottom. And then you might find that your hips can just relax a little bit. Good, and if y'all can't hear the music, don't worry. You can play your own music in the background if you'd like. We're just gonna try this today. It's a whole experiment. So, allow your hands to relax on your thighs. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and close your eyes. We're just gonna be here for a moment as we begin to tune into our breath. So, this is a vinyasa flow class. And what that means is, vinyasa means connecting breath to movement. So you want to continue your breath very consistently and smoothly throughout the whole class. If you find yourself holding your breath or breathing really quickly out of your mouth, just take a second. Just find some stillness, come out of the pose, and regroup. You want to make sure that you're constantly breathing in and out as slow and fluid and rhythmic as you possibly can. So as you close your eyes, go ahead and start to tap into that breath. So just notice your breath first. Is it shallow? Is it fast? Maybe it's been a while since you've taken a proper deep breath. So you can go ahead and do that if that feels good. And you can let it go out of your mouth if you'd like. Or just continue breathing through your nose. A lot of times you'll hear your breath called your life force or your powerhouse. We say those things because, as we all know, our breath gives us life. It's what keeps the oxygen flowing through our blood, keeps our heart pumping. And in a beautiful way, we get to take it for granted. But for just a few moments, don't. Appreciate your breath, be thankful for your breath, and notice it. As you're sitting here, think of relaxing your neck and shoulders, your hips, your thighs, your legs. All of your limbs are completely released, but then draw up through your spine, squeezing your belly button gently in so you're lifting through your pelvic floor, lifting in your core. Your spine is growing tall and long up your back. Feeling rooted in the earth, but also really lifted and strong. We will be moving through some wonderful movements today. If anything does not feel good, is not going to serve you well, just step out of it at any time. This is your practice. You make it whatever you want. Start to let your head gently roll from shoulder to shoulder. So let your ear come to your shoulder, chin come to chest, ear to opposite shoulder. If it feels good and you want to roll back, you can, but you don't have to. You can just roll forward, shoulder to shoulder. sitting up tall. Inhale your arms to the sky. Let your eyes flutter open. Exhale your hands down in front of your heart. We have this cool thing in yoga where you can set an intention for your practice. So if that's something you'd like to do, it can be a one-word thing like peace or laughter. Maybe you want to be a little bit more playful. Or maybe you're working on building your strength. You can go ahead and choose whatever you'd like it to be. Maybe it's be still. Maybe it is find joy in all things. Whatever you want it to be, go ahead and take that intention, glue it to the front of your brain, seal it into your heart, and let it guide your practice. So if your mind starts to wander, or if a particular pose becomes difficult, you can just rein back into that. So you know what, just laugh. It doesn't have to be hard, just laugh. You know what? My mind's all over the place, just find peace. So, seal that intention and breathe in one more time, arms up to the sky, really strong, reach far. Exhale your hands down in front of your heart. Good. Let your hands fall to your thighs, take some shoulder rolls, up, back, and down. I'm actually going to turn my music down, it sounds a little loud. Cool. Some shoulder rolls, up, back, and down. Good. That way I don't have to yell at you guys. And the other way, back, up, forward, and down. All right, finding stillness. If you're on a block, feel free to remove it to the side. And go into a little bit of core work first. That helps just fire up your core, make sure your center is ready to move and to support you. Everything you do in yoga comes from this core, so you want to make sure you're constantly engaging it and thinking about it, and making sure it feels strong and lifted at all times. So, sitting on your sit bones with your feet planted, start to lean back. So you want your back to be at about a 45-degree angle from the floor, maybe even a little more than that. So if that feels good, make sure if your rib cage starts to pop and your belly starts to poke out, draw your rib cage towards your hip bones. So if you're like, I have no idea what that means, take your fingers and touch your hip bone and your rib cage and see what it feels like when it's popped out, and see what it feels like when you can almost pinch them back together. You don't want to hunch and crunch, but just feel them engaged with one another. So we're sitting here. You may already feel your core engaged as you just gently lean back. So if you do, you can just stay right here. I'm going to take you through a progression of things, and you just see how you feel and where you want to go. So if this feels good, you can come up onto your toes. Again, squeezing your belly button into your spine, lifting your heart while keeping those ribs in. There's a lot going on at once. If you'd like to slowly lift one foot and then the other, see how that feels. Again, squeezing that belly in, reaching with your heart. So you want to avoid kind of scooping and crunching. You want to lift as much as you can. Good. If this feels good, you can reach your hands out. Nice. So this is getting intense as we continue to move through these. I'll show you one more just briefly because it's even hard for me. If you want to straighten your legs, you can also do that. I'm going to come back right here because I feel my hip flexors firing in and I really just want to work my core. So if you'd like to lower to bow, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower yourself till you feel like a boat or a banana. So your shoulders and your legs don't touch the floor, and then you lift back up. If that feels like too much, just relax your feet for a second. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to boat. On your inhale, we lift back up. Exhale, lowers down to boat. Inhale, lifts back up. 1 more time. Exhale, lower down to boat. Inhale, lift back up. Now, if you'd like to release your feet and your hands to the back, you can take a few windshield wipers on your feet. Good. And then reach or grab your legs and roll down onto your back. Squeeze your knees into your chest. And then send your feet up to the sky. Your legs don't have to be straight. We haven't even warmed up your hamstrings yet, so don't feel like you gotta go crazy, but give yourself Barbie toes. So it's like you're pointing, but you're pulling your toes back towards you. It's like little Barbie feet. Good. And plant your hands on the ground. You're gonna do a few toe lifts towards the sky. So you're gonna gently rock your hips back and send your toes up towards the sky. Whoop. As you're doing that, see if you can squeeze your belly button towards the floor. Good. The instinct here is to crunch and rock your toes overhead. See if you can just lift them straight up. Cool. Try a few more of those, just kind of tapping into that low, low belly. And lift. Try 2 more. Lift. And lift. Good. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Rock side to side, massage out your back. And then grabbing behind your legs, see if you can take some gentle rocks. And then maybe you can hover on your sit bones. And hover. If you'd like to try that again, release your hands, rock, and hover. If you want to try it with straight legs, you can. Rock and hover. Last one, you're going to rock all the way through onto your hands and knees. Or just get there however. That's the thing about yoga. Sometimes it looks so beautiful and graceful, and sometimes we don't feel beautiful and graceful, and it doesn't matter. You want it to feel good. You don't want to be in pain by any means, but sometimes we're going to feel like fish flailing around on our mat a little bit, and that's okay. We're just figuring it out. So, place your hands underneath your shoulders, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll take some cat-cow stretches. So as you inhale, fill up your lungs, feel a straight, strong spine. On your exhale, round and scoop your belly out, press the floor away from you, and come into your cat stretch. Inhale as your belly lowers, your gaze comes up. Don't crane your neck by trying to look at the sky, just look at the floor in front of your mat. Exhale, round your spine, curl under. Inhale, gazes up. Exhale, round under. Inhale, gazes up. And then take some side to side movements. These are my favorite. Reach your shoulder towards your hip. Take some circles. Might feel a little weird, but you're warming up and waking up your spine, which is really important before we put some pressure on it. So get weird with the movement, it's okay. Good. All right, now planting your hands, you really want to make sure your fingers are spread wide. A lot of people have the tendency to draw their fingers together and put all the weight in the heel of your hand. You don't want to do that. You want to spread your fingers super wide so that you're pressing into all your fingertips and alleviating some of the pressure while simultaneously strengthening your wrists. If you go through a yoga class and you're constantly shaking out your wrists, that's okay. I was the exact same way when I started this a few years ago. It takes time for the flexibility and strength to build in your wrists. So, spread your fingertips wide. You have a few options. You can put your pointer finger at the 12 o'clock, or look at the little creases in your wrist. Some may have more than others, that's great. And you want the crease to be parallel with the front of your wrist. So, planting your hands, really press into those fingertips, and step one foot back and then the other until you're in your plank. Just hang out here for a second. Feel this. Maybe see what it feels like to drop your hips. See what it feels like to lower your hips. See what it feels like to go into your turtle shell and press out of it. You want to press away from the mat. Shine your heart forward. Squeeze your legs towards one another. Now we're going to talk about our chaturanga. So if you'd like to lower to your knees, it's a great place to start until you feel confident and strong enough to do it from a full plank. So, this crazy thing called chaturanga up dog, you hear about it a lot in yoga. We'll break it down. Squeeze your elbows into your chest as you glide into a half push-up. You don't want to let your shoulders dip lower than your elbows. That puts a lot of weird pressure in your elbows and can cause injury. So it's just a half push-up. Then you lift your chest and you lower your legs to the ground. Very gentle. If this doesn't feel good in your low back, you can go all the way to the floor and just do a very gentle lift here. If your back feels okay, you can press into the tops of your feet. Lift your knees off the mat and come into a full upward facing dog. Then curl your toes and lift yourself up and back into your first downward facing dog. Cool. Feel free to find some movement here. You can wiggle, press into one hip, one heel, and switch. I used to think I had to come to this perfectly static, straight leg down dog, pressing my heels towards the ground, and you really don't have to. Your goal here is a straight, strong spine. So, if straightening your legs makes you round your spine, then we're not accomplishing the goal. So bend your knees, lengthen your spine, squeeze your belly button and your rib cage in, and then plug your shoulders into their sockets. So if you're not sure what that means, shrug your shoulders into your ears and then release them. And as you release them and your shoulders come back into their sockets, that's what you want to accomplish. So let's float back to our plank. You may need to walk your feet back a little bit. Squeeze your thighs together, knees up or down. Take your chaturanga, your little half push-up or lower down to your belly, and then your upward facing dog or cobra can be very gentle. Curl your toes, downward facing dog. Keep your breath moving. The down dog is a perfect place to come back to your breath. Two more deep breaths here. Note on down dog, this will eventually be what we call a resting posture. It's kind of an in-between movements. If this feels not restful for you at all, you just lower down to your knees, sit back on your hips, and come to a child's pose. And then eventually, you'll work your stamina up in your down dog. So, gaze at your fingertips and tiptoe your feet all the way into your hands. They can stay hip width apart. If you're not sure how far apart that is, put your fists in between. It's about 2 fist widths. Bend your knees. Protect those hamstrings until they're nice and warm. And just dangle your head over your legs. Feel your breath, your belly expand and contract against your thighs as you relax in this position. Inhale as in a halfway lift. So your hands come to your shins. They can come to the mat, but I like the shins. Gives you a little more range of motion, and you can really work on that flat back. So again, we don't want to be rounded here. You want to flatten your back, roll your shoulders back, your shoulder blades come down your back as you inhale here. Take another deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Coming to standing, bring your hands to heart center. Bringing them down in prayer. Close your eyes. Remember that intention you set at the beginning of class. Good turn facing. Bring that back to your mind. What was it? Did you already forget it? Have you been repeating it? Seal it back in. Inhale, your arms all the way back up to the sky. We're going to come up on our tippy toes. So rise up and down. Up and down. Reach your arms high as you press your shoulders away from your ears. Squeeze your belly button up and in. 2 more times. Rise up and down, up and down. Good. Bringing your hands to prayer, sink into a chair pose. Now your legs can stay apart, or you can bring your toes to touch. Few things to keep in mind is a straight, strong back. If you're not sure if you're rounded or straight, bring your hand to your lower back and feel. What does it feel like back there? I remember when a teacher finally gave me permission to touch my body in these poses, and I thought, wow, that's really helpful. So feel free to do that. And then bring your hand back to prayer. Squeeze your belly button in, and make sure you can see your toes. If your knees are over your toes and you can't see them, scoot them back into space. Maybe you sink a little lower. Inhale deep here. Exhale, maybe you sink a centimeter lower. Inhale, lengthen. Through your spine, exhale, sink just a little bit lower. You might find you're capable of more than you thought. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold all the way over. Inhale, come back into that half lift. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step, or if you're more seasoned yogi and want to jump back to your plank, you sure can. Knees up or down. Take your chaturanga. I'll show you a very modified version. You just lower gently to your belly. And then lift your chest gently. You can press into your hands or just use your back muscles. Whatever feels better. And then coming back up through your plank, round your toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Come back to that breath, back to your intention. Gazing up at your hands, you can step, tiptoe, or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Reaching arms up, take those balances, so up on your toes and lower. Up and lower. Up and down. Working your balance, working your strength of your calves. Squeeze your belly button in this whole time. Now rise and stay there. See if you can find your balance for a second. Keep your breathing. Lower your heels, bring your hands to prayer. Lower into chair pose. I'm going to try a little variation here just for fun. Now that you've practiced balance and chair, let your hands come back behind you and just play with lifting your heels off the mat. So they might just come up and come right back down. They might come up and stay a little while. And if you can, try to come all the way up on your toes as high as you can. Just gaze at the mat in front of you. This is drinking bird. Such a beautiful pose. Squeezing your thighs in towards one another, reaching your arms back with lots of energy, squeezing your shoulder blades together, all while balancing on your toes with bent legs. Lower your heels gently. Inhale your arms, but stay in your chair pose. Exhale and chair forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. So when I say plant your hands, make sure you bend your knees so you can plant your hands. You don't want to step back if you're on your fingertips. So really bend your knees as much as you need, put your hands on the floor, and then step back into your plank. Take your chaturanga, your upward facing dog. Now, if that's not serving you today, just skip it. You can always go straight from your plank to your down dog or your child's pose. 3 nice deep breaths here. Gazing at your fingertips, step or hop your feet into your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, reach all the way up. I'm going to turn to face you. You stay where you're at. Hands come to prayer. Working on more balance. We're going to come in, excuse me, I pull up my pants, into tree pose. So start to shift your weight onto your, I'll mirror you here, your right foot. Good. And start to peel, opening up your knee, peel your left toes off the mat. You may just stay right here. This might be, especially if you're older, balance can just kind of leave us. It's something we lose as we age. So this might be a challenge for you to just be up on your toe or even bring your ankle, your heel to your ankle and leave your toe as a kickstand. If you're feeling okay, take your whole foot off the floor and glue it to your ankle or your calf. Again, working on opening up this knee and lifting up out of your supporting leg. So if you find that you're kind of sitting here like this, lift up out of that leg, out of that hip joint. Let that lift engage your belly. Don't let it lift your shoulders though. Keep those down. And then if you want to go into full tree, skip up over your knee. You can grab your ankle and plant it on your thigh. Good. Press your foot into your thigh and your thigh into your foot. That'll help squeeze your glutes, open up your leg, find that engagement. And if you're feeling good, you can open your arms and wave them. I see some comments coming through, but I can't read them, but I'm feeling the love, you guys. Thank you for being here. Let me make sure you're not saying you can't hear me or something. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Okay, everything's great. Stay in your two pose. And you can even just keep your arms out to the side for balance. Awesome. Slowly lift your knee up off your leg and lower your foot. We'll take a forward fold to reset. So inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, forward folds. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folds. Inhale, come all the way right back up. Exhale, hands down in front of your heart. Good, shift your weight to your other foot. It should be on your left, I think. Bringing your right toes to your ankle or leave them as a kickstand. Sliding your foot maybe up to your calf. If that feels good, you can stay right here. You can stay right here. You can stay right here. You have so many options. So just listen to your body. What's going to challenge you but also serve you today? If you're feeling great, go ahead and grab that ankle and bring it all the way up to your inner thigh. Press your thigh into your foot into your thigh, engaging your glutes, lift up out of that leg, and find that balance. You may have great balance, but maybe your knee's not feeling great. So just leave your foot down. You're still working your balance and your strength on your standing leg. Maybe play with those arms. Leave your branches. This will challenge your balance. Any movement will make it harder. If you're feeling great and you really want to challenge your balance, close your eyes. Very hard to balance without spatial awareness. Good. Slowly lift your foot off your thigh, lower it down to the mat. Inhale your arms all the way up. I'm going to turn back this way with you guys. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step or jump back to your plank. You can go to child's pose. You can go to down dog. You can take your vinyasa. Perfect. Even if what you did wasn't perfect, the effort behind it is perfect. Now bring your toes to touch at the back of your mat. And take your right leg to the sky. If this is instantly very difficult, you're wobbling, you can't hold your balance, just don't do it. Just stay in your down dog. But if you can, lift that leg high. And then bend your knee, squeeze it forward, and see if you can plant your foot on your mat. It may have landed back here. You just grab it and bring it forward. Perfect. Now, sink into your lunge. You can use your hands for support. You can also use your blocks here if you'd like. We won't be here too long, so don't go running for blocks, but if they're there and you want to use them, you can. Take a second to square up your hips. So this left hip is going to want to open up naturally. Tuck it back in, bringing your right and your left hip into alignment. Reaching through that back leg. Find lots of energy in that back leg. While you're in your lunge, it might feel great to have it straight when you're leaned forward. But as you squeeze your belly button in and start to lift into your lunge, you may find that back leg needs to bend a little bit. Help send that tailbone back down towards the floor. It doesn't have to be straight, it can be straight. So, you decide. Lifting your arms up overhead. If this makes you feel winded and tired, you can always bring your hands to your hips. You can always unbend this leg. You can always shorten your stance. So there's a lot of ways where you can stay engaged in a great crescent lunge and not take it to the fullest degree. If you're more experienced, open up those legs, sink into that thigh, lift your arms high. Now lowering your arms, see if you can sink a little deeper. Be mindful that your knee does not go over your toes. Keep it over your ankles. Inhale, lift up. These can be very small movements. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. This might make you wobble and fall. That's okay. Exhale, lower. If you're like, how did she know? Is she in my living room? It's fine. I've been there. I've done it. One more time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. Now open up to warrior two. Put your back heel on the ground. Flat foot. The edge of your foot is parallel with the edge of your mat. Reaching your arms long, press your shoulders down. If you feel like you're leaning forwards or backwards, try to balance your shoulders right over your hips. Send your right knee out towards your pinky toe and reach your arms, gazing over your fingertips. Engage your left glute. Feel it working for you. When done properly, there's a lot of strength in this pose. A lot of things might be talking to you, your inner thigh, your glute, your shoulders, your core. Feel it, embrace it. Bring that intention back to the top of your mind. Flip your front palm, keeping your legs exactly where they are, don't move them. Reverse your warrior. So your left hand comes to gently rest on your leg, and you lift your torso up and back. Don't think about crunching towards your foot. Think about lifting towards the sky. And then curl your hands. Just means your right hand falls, then your left hand. If your blocks are there, you can get them out of the way. Now you're back in your lunge. You can take this foot back and meet me in down dog or flow through your chaturanga. Good. Your right side of your body might be feeling a little more fatigued than your left, but don't worry, we're about to even it up. Take 2 deep breaths here and let them out through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Bring your toes to touch. If you want to try lifting that left leg off the mat, go ahead and lift it up. You want to keep that leg super straight and strong behind you. This is more advanced, so if you're still working on your strength and flexibility, just leave your leg down. And then we're going to all together bring our left foot forward, again, as far as it can. Maybe you help it the rest of the way. Maybe you wiggle your toes forward, or maybe you just leave it in a shallow stance. Again, there's so many right ways to do yoga. Don't get stuck in your head of what you think it has to look like. So, holding here for a second to really square off those hips. So if that right hip started opening up, bring it back to the party. Square it up. Make sure your left knee is over your left ankle. If you feel like you're doing this, this won't be healthy for your knee in the long run. So scoot it back, keep it over that ankle. Start to scoop your belly, squeezing in, and then you just kind of float off that leg. Your left glute is definitely going to be talking to you. That's okay. Fire up the right one. That will help alleviate some of the strain. You're in your crescent lunge. If balance is really hard for you, and this is already a struggle, you can always plant that back foot. So you're basically just coming into a warrior one. Your hips will open slightly. You'll just keep them there and do the same things we're doing as best you can with that back heel down. You'll have less leverage, but just do your best. So, make sure do not disturb here. Cool. So we're all up. We'll take our pulses. On your exhale, sink low. You can use your back heel for the leverage. You can watch my back heel initiate the movement. Inhale as we lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's go for one more. Inhale, lift your arms high. Exhale, lower. Inhale and hold. Opening up warrior two. Open your arms, your chest, your hips. Everything is square. Pretend you're in between 2 panes of glass and you don't want anything to hit the glass. Everything's stacked. Back foot is flat. Lots of energy in that outside edge of your foot. Your front knee is guiding towards your pinky toe, so don't let it collapse in. Open it up. Arms are strong. Press your shoulders down. Again, shoulders over hips. So this is very easy to happen because we're tired. So come back, shoulders over hips. Good. Gaze over that front fingertip. Great time to come back to that intention. These moments of long poses They're like little mini mental fortitude tests. Are you gonna let yourself say, I don't like this, kind of hurts, I think I'm getting tired, oof, that arm is shaking. You're gonna say, you got this. You are strong, you are beautiful, you are growing, you are changing, you are working this body that God gave you. So see how you're talking to yourself. And if it's not good, see if you can change it. Flip your front palm, keep your legs right where they are. Let your back hand fall to your leg and lift the arm up towards the sky. Again, think about reaching up, 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 up. Find length between hip and shoulder, all the way up to your fingertips. Reverse warrior. Exhale, your arms all the way down. I know that front leg is tired, which is okay. You can go straight to down dog or take your chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch. Float your right leg into the sky if you'd like to try that. Otherwise, just bring it to the top of your mat. Once there, go ahead and lift all the way up into your crescent lunge. Open up warrior two. So we're linking our movements much faster this time. Can build heat in different ways. Now we're going to come into a modified side angle. So pretend someone's got a hold of your front hand and they're going to pull it away from you. Let them pull. Reach, 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 reach with that hand as far as you can. You'll feel this in your inner groin, your inner hip. Go as far as feels comfortable. Lower your elbow to your knee, and then lift your left arm up overhead, or you can bring it out by your ear, reaching long. Good. Hold on just for a moment. And then we're going to take some movement to play with our balance a little bit. So inhale as you reach into your reverse warrior. Exhale back down into your supported side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Pretend like you're moving through mud. It's slow, it's deliberate, it's strong. See how many muscles you can engage along the way. Last one, reaches over. Inhale, reaches back. Exhale, let your hands come all the way down to your mat. Find your plank. If you'd like to do your chaturanga, you may. Medium downward facing dog. Bringing your toes to touch. Lift your left heel into the sky. Swing it through. And if you didn't lift, just draw that left foot forward. Immediately coming up into your crescent lunge as soon as you have your balance. Right away opening up warrior two. Now, reaching forward with that front hand. Reach, 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 reach as far as you can. And then let your elbow come down, keeping your torso where it is. So we want to try to avoid is crunching into this again. Reaching forward, arm comes down, open up your chest. Side angle. Again, if you want to reach this arm all the way overhead, that might feel really beautiful, feeling the extension from your heel all the way to your wrist. Squeezing your belly button in. We'll find some movement here. This will test your balance as your gaze and your body moves around. So again, if you wobble and fall, just come right back when you can and join in. Inhale, reaches back. Exhale, comes down to your side angle. Arm either up or over the ear. Inhale, reach. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, reaches up and back. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, forward. This is your last one. Inhale, up and back. Exhale your hands all the way down. Finding your lunge, so those back feet just flip up onto their toes. Find your plank. Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Now, walk your hands back to your feet. Feel that pressure on your hands. Feels good. And then wiggle your feet so they're as wide as your mat. And then take one hand to one elbow and wrap your arms
Release your head. And just fall over your legs here in a wide leg forward fold. Maybe rock side to side gentle. Maybe gently nod your head yes. Shake it no. Let your hands gently fall to the mat. Bend your knees. And you'll sink your hips low. I'm going to grab a block if you don't have one. And I'm going to put it behind me. We're going to come into a yogi squat. So opening your legs. Sink your hips low. I love using a block here. You don't have to, but you can. Elbows to knees, hands to prayer. Now, no beginner class will be complete without a crow pose. So, we're going to attempt this posture. If you have done yoga before, you know crow pose, just go into it. You can ignore me for a second. If you'd like to try it with me, I'll explain it while I demo it so you can watch. And then I'll explain it again so you can try it with my cues. So if you'd like to watch for the first one, you may. You can just stay here in your yoga squat. You can sit on a block, sit on the floor, get comfortable for just a second. And then just try it. Even if your feet don't ever leave the ground, you'll still be building a lot of strength and flexibility and balance. So, I like to start in a forward fold position. Bend your knees. I'm going to angle just this way a little. I think that might be good. Plant your hands super wide. So just like you've been planking down dog. Wide fingertips. Right under your shoulders. Not here. Right under your shoulders. And turn this down. This is good. Cool. The next thing you want to do is come up on your toes. You're guiding your knees into your armpit as close as you can get it. Into your armpit. So you gotta sink your hips down, bend your knees, come up onto your toes. This is kind of the weird part. But once you make engagement, knees into your arms, you're going to squeeze everything in and cat stretch your back. So just like we do on hands and knees when we cat stretch, that's what you want to do to kind of gather everything in and engage your core. So hands are down, up on your toes, knees into your armpits, and cat stretch as you squeeze up and in, and then gazing forward, don't tuck your head. Your body will think it wants to somersault. Gazing at the mat in front of you, slowly start to shift your weight forward. As you bend your arms, that's key, bend your arms. Cannot do it on straight arms. That's crane pose, it's very advanced and very hard. Don't do it right now. Bend your arms, create a little shelf for your shins, and then if you want, maybe you peel one toe off, just see how that feels, put it back, peel the other toe off, put it back, and then if you maybe feel good, maybe both toes, drop up and in towards your bottom, squeeze, lift, using your core, using your inner thighs. Whew, easy, right? Okay, I'll explain it once more, kind of demo it, this is your turn. So, plant your hands, come into your forward fold, bend your knees. Think knees into armpit, kind of on the outside towards your shoulder. Up on your toes, knees come into your armpit, bend your arms, gaze forward, don't tuck your chin, gaze forward, make that shelf, shift your weight over your hands, and see if you can gather one toe up and then the other. Your triceps are a shelf for your shins. Squeeze everything in, create that cat stretch, and just teeter-totter. Maybe you come back and forth a little bit. Maybe you kind of start to fall on your head and you pinch yourself. It's okay, you're only 2 inches from the ground, you got a mat in front of you. It'll be all right. But just kind of play with that. Maybe your toes, like I said, don't leave the ground. It's okay. There's still so much that you're doing with your chest, your arms, your core, your thighs, your hip flexors, they're all working. So give that a go. And when you are tuckered out and you've tried it all you can, come to sit on your bottom. Great. It's one of my all-time favorite inversions because it's tight, it's insular, it's safe to try. But man, if you can do it, if you can get just a second of air time, it can feel really, really good. So once you're on your bottom, bring your feet together. They can be far apart from your body. They can be all the way in. This is going to depend on your anatomy, your hips, how you're feeling. And just try your best to sit up tall, holding on to your ankles. Holding onto your feet might feel good, and if it does, that's fine. but it can also create some odd strain on your knees. So I always recommend ankles, and then you have your elbows available to help. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale as you hinge forward, pressing your elbows into your legs, opening up. You can keep your spine long, your chest and heart shining, or you can round over. They're both a little different. It's really whatever you prefer. Keep your breath flowing. We're starting to slow down now. So the hard work is over. That's the good news. If you're sweating and out of breath, now you get to slow down. So just keep your mind focused. I encourage you not to hit stop and jump off your mat now that the hard part's over. The stretching and the decompression that we enjoy at the end of class is just as important as the fun stuff, the hard stuff. So I encourage you to stick with it all the way through Savasana. I myself am guilty of feeling, I'm like, I got stuff to do, this is just stretching them off my mat. And then I regret it the next day. My hamstrings are tight, my hips are tight, my back is tight. So give yourself this space, give yourself this time. Go ahead and roll on up. And then coming back onto all fours for just a moment. We're gonna come into our pigeon, our half pigeon stretch. So take your right leg and send it forward in front of your left. Now, you will see this pose with your shin parallel to the top of your mat. Most of us are not going to be able to do that, so don't worry about that. It can be at any angle, but you do want to sit up. If you were sitting out on this hip, you're not going to get much of a stretch. So sit up on top of your hips, centered. And then slowly you can walk your hands forward. You should feel this stretch all up in and around your right hip if your right leg is in front. Your back leg is straight behind you. Try to keep that toe pointed and relaxed. And you can just stay here with your hands supporting you, or use your block. If I remember one of my classes, you know this is my favorite use of a yoga block of all time. You walk forward, and you can place your forehead on the block, releasing into it. Now here, you definitely want to remind yourself to breathe and try to systematically relax everything from the crown of your head down to those toes behind you. So really just melt into the mat, let gravity do its work, and allow your head to open. Slowly start to make your way back up. And then now do just sit on that hip and bring this leg around. Bring them in front, relax like you're at the beach, and rock your legs windshield wipers side to side. And then just coming back onto all fours to reset. Take that left leg, bring it up and in front. Again, any angle is fine. Don't stress about it being parallel like you might see in pictures. That's very intense. Relax this foot, sitting up on your hips first. You can stay up just like this if you'd like, or walk your hands and your body forward. Maybe you come onto your forearms. Maybe if you have a block, you come onto that. You feel what's going to be best for you. slowly start to come back up. And you can just come onto that outer hip, bringing your legs around. And now we get to go onto our back. This is always my favorite part of the yoga class. So reach out or grab your legs, round your spine as you roll back onto your back, squeezing your knees into your chest. Good. Now grab onto your right knee or shin, send your left leg up into the air, and using your core one last time, just lower that leg super slow until it's gently relaxed on the floor, and then you can release it. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, squeeze your knee into your chest and guide it towards your armpit along so your thigh is grazing the edge of your ribcage, and then maybe circle your ankle a few times. And then grab your knee with your left arm. Right arm comes out to the mat and send it all the way over and across your body. Again, it might just need to hover here. Great. If you have a block or a box or something, you can put it under your knee or under your foot. Just kind of catching the weight of your leg so it's not dangling. Thinking of a straight line down your spine and your straight leg. Let this leg spiral around. And if it feels okay, you can gaze out towards that right hand. Every inhale, you'll feel your lungs expand. And on your exhale, maybe your twist deepens just a little bit more. Rolling back onto your back, bring that knee in, your other knee in, rock gently side to side, and then to recenter, plant your feet and do a gentle bridge pose, so just like a little lift and lower. Good. Bring your left knee into your chest, your right leg is up, and then slowly send that right leg all the way down to the ground. Inhale as you expand your lungs, release your leg. Exhale, squeeze your knee in towards your chest, again guiding it towards your shoulder so your thigh grazes your chest. Take a couple circles with your ankle. If you want that block for your twist, bring it over to the other side. Again, if you don't have any yoga blocks and you think you might do a yoga class here and there, I would highly recommend grabbing a couple on Amazon. They're not all that expensive and they can really be beneficial to your practice. I use them constantly. So grab your knee with your right hand, left arm opens up, lift all the way up and over into that twist. You might find you go farther or not as far as the other side, that's okay. You might feel your back pop, that's great too. It's just releasing gases in your back. If you'd like to gaze towards your left, you can. That'll complete the spiral of your back spine. Slowly work your knees back to center. Take a few rocks. Take a gentle happy baby, so open your feet up to the sky. You can grab the outsides of your feet or peace fingers to toes and sink your hips low. Your knees are coming kind of into your shoulder space. You can rock gently side to side or just stay still. A way to kind of further engage this pose is to try to reach your tailbone towards the floor, like you're flattening your low back against the mat. You'll really feel the stretch in your hips. bring your feet together in a cobbler pose, opening up. Even open your legs to the sky in waterfall for just a moment. Let that blood flow back to your heart. Move into our Savasana. So reach one leg towards each corner of your mat. If you're new to yoga and you don't know what this pose is, it's the best part of a yoga class. Don't skip it. Rock those shoulders, kind of wiggle them up underneath you so your heart feels like it's up on a shelf. And then just open your palms to the sky. Your head comes center. Your chin can gently chuck in so we're not chin up. This will cause kind of a kink in your spine. So think about if your neck and spine were as long and straight as they could be, what that would look like. And then I encourage you to find complete stillness. Try not to fidget or itch. Just let your body melt into the mat. If your mind starts to wander, just lasso it and bring it back. You can repeat your intention for your practice, really seal it in. Or another method that I love to use when my brain is particularly frazzled is think about my breath. So inhale 1, exhale 2. Inhale 1, exhale 2, and just repeat that. I'm going to turn up the music and just leave you here. So keep your eyes closed. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. In your Savasana, start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate the wrists and ankles. And reach your arms overhead, coming into a full body stretch like you just woke up. Bringing your feet along your mat towards your bottom. Start to rock your knees gently from side to side. Until eventually you rock all the way over into the fetal position. Take a second here to let your practice just wash over you. Let the peace or the strength or the joy that you've experienced just settle into your bones. And then slowly push your way up,
coming into an easy seated position, maybe just like you started class in. So sitting up tall, hands can rest on your thighs. Inhale your arms all the way to the sky. Exhale your hands down in front of heart center. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today, for working hard and pushing yourself and maybe trying something new. I feel very honored that you've joined me today. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me, for taking this time on your mat, for working on strength and flexibility and balance, but also mental peace and clarity. I really pray that you walk away with something new today. And I pray that as you step off your mat and into the world, you will be a blessing to those around you. So thank you again for joining in. It really was a pleasure to have you here. If you joined live, thank you for taking the time to do that. And for those of you joining in later, I appreciate you as well. This is such a fun thing we get to do during this strange time, and I'm just really, really thankful. All right. See you guys later.